So, as always, I have to be transparent about the time I'm recording this audio. It is Thursday, December 21st. I'm going out on a trip for the holidays, so some of the numbers, some of the ideas and stuff may be a little bit outdated, especially if we put stats up on the screen by the time this video gets published on YouTube, but hey, what am I gonna do, right? Gotta pre-record stuff for the holidays, we're going on a trip, and I don't want to be recording and bothering everybody with video production whilst on the road. But today we are responding to a video that I made a few days ago in regards to New York Islanders forward Bo Horvat. Our video the other day was talking about whether or not Bo Horvat regrets leaving Vancouver. And I, of course, was expecting this, but I did see a bunch of Islanders fans in the comments section below kind of getting ticked off. And of course, I'm not gonna say that y'all are wrong for calling me out like that. It was definitely indignant the way that I talked about your situation and the player. So, in this video, we are flipping the script and we are talking about a much more positive angle in regards to former Captain Bo and his newfound home on the island. Today, we are talking about the torch, the argument that has popped up over the past few days as to whether or not the leadership center core of New York has indeed found itself a new guy to take the stand. We're talking today about John Tavares. The guy who was, at a time, the heart and soul of the New York Islanders. He was the captain of the team. He was their hard-nosed, two-way capable, playmaking center who boasted up point-per-game years and who left the Islanders in such a precarious spot when he didn't want to get traded, when he said he was going to stick around, when he said his heart was on the island, and when he eventually decided to leave to Toronto in free agency. The Islanders lost out on him for free, they didn't get anything in exchange, no trade, no nothing, he walked, and Islanders fans were salty about it. Now, part of the reason this is even a thing, and part of what sets up the entire stage for this commentary to be made, was the Leafs and Islanders game that we had seen take place on December 11th, so multiple weeks ago. This was the game in New York wherein John Tavares scored his 1,000th NHL point on the game-tying goal. This was a pretty big deal to hit the millennium mark because he was on the ice wherein his NHL career started, back in Long Island. Okay, not technically the ice, the arena changed since then, but still, you get what I mean. John Tavares scored an assist, I think it was Morgan Rielly who got the goal, and you saw the entire Leafs bench flooding Johnny T to give him congrats. Meanwhile, Islanders fans in the building were booing, and it was kind of an ugly scene, kind of not. I mean, it was bittersweet because, of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs tied the game, and they're hyped. They wanted to get this to OT. Johnny T getting his 1,000th point was the cherry on top. But then in overtime, things get flipped upside down because the Toronto Maple Leafs end up losing. Yeah, 3-on-3 overtime, that's how it goes. The goal scorer in OT was none other than Bo Horvat, who was streaking down on a 2-on-1. He receives the pass from Barzal, he goes top cheese, and he scores the goal, ending what was a very entertaining game. I did watch this one live because it was on TV. It was one of the only games on, I'm pretty sure. And Bo Horvat seals the deal, right? Well, the reason we're making this video about that game that happened 2 weeks ago at this point is because of the idea, the philosophy, the identity, the passing of the torch, quote-unquote, that you could debate took place on this day. Let's go over onto a recent episode of the Nassau Men Hockey Podcast. They're a podcast that talks mostly about New York Islanders stuff, run by James Nichols and John Zella. And on a recent episode the other week, they asked the question on the show, are the Islanders and Matvei Barzal getting from Bo Horvat what they missed from John Tavares when he left for Toronto? John Zella does indeed think so. Now, this is an idea that I didn't really think about all too much when Bo Horvat was initially acquired by the Islanders, but after thinking about it a bit more, you know, it makes a little bit of sense. Here's a comment made by Ariel Wood in regards to that same idea. Nassau Men Hockey Podcast, I was watching the pod and it was a passing of the torch. And the Horvat-Selly telling the bench to come on the ice after Rielly did it to the Leafs bench for Tavares' 1,000th point was poetic justice. Now here's the thing when talking about these two guys. Bo Horvat does not have the same star-studded superstar drawing power that a John Tavares has. Tavares was one of the best teenagers to suit up in the OHL when he made his debut with that league. He was super good right away, and he was the first overall pick in the NHL draft because of it. Now, sure, Bo Horvat was alright in the OHL, but he was taken 9th overall by the Vancouver Canucks. He never had that first overall type of momentum behind his name like Johnny T did. Tavares also played for the Islanders right away, and he became an immediate force, becoming an instant 80-point guy 2 seasons after his rookie year. This was not the case for Bo Horvat. He slowly became better. He didn't even make the NHL right away after being a Vancouver Canucks draftee, but Bo Horvat eventually worked his way up to the production he's able to get recently, wherein he was a 60, 50-point guy depending on the games played, right under a point per game-ish towards the end of his Canucks career, and then of course the last season he had in Vancouver where he was way over a point per game before getting sent over to the island. This season, Bo Horvat is at 31 points in 31 games played, which is fantastic. Just such a good point production metric for a guy who has worked his entire career up to this point. But the interesting thing about that is that Bo Horvat being on pace for about a point per game, let's say 81 points in 81 games played, would already be in the same territory of point production as John Tavares in his prime as a member of the New York Islanders. The best season Johnny T ever had on the island was 86 points in 82 games played. That was the year that he was close to winning the Art Ross. Jamie Benn came from behind and ended up winning that season with 80-something points. It was really bad, NHL scoring in that time frame. And you could debate that because Tavares and Ben and all these guys were excelling and putting up Art Ross caliber numbers in this season, that if you put them into any other season, they may have gotten more points. But the fact remains that John Tavares' most productive Islanders year came with 86 points on the season. Bo Horvat is just a shade underneath that, on pace for 81. He has been on fire this previous December, and if he's able to go out there and continue scoring the over point per game metric he has had this month throughout the rest of the year, then who knows if Bo Horvat is able to get over the John Tavares 86 point marker. Sure, Bo may not have that first overall star power, but there is a two-way capable center in his game that you could debate was also there with Tavares. Bo is a lot more of a goal scorer than Johnny T was, but also you could say that Tavares scoring the amount of goals and getting the amount of points that he did was also helpful to a guy like Matvei Barzal. Barzal, in today's day and age, is playing probably some of the best hockey he's played since his rookie season when Tavares was here. And for Barzy to finally have a triggerman on his line that could put the puck in the back of the net in great quantities, like Bo, it makes everybody else on that line much better. And now, all of a sudden, you're thinking about the impact that Bo has on this team. I've been seeing some Islanders fans toss around the idea very loosely, saying, oh yeah, Bo could be our next captain. Anders Lee has gone out there, and he's pretty good, but Anders Lee is, 33 years old? So if you wanted to say that there is a potential for him to not really stick around by the time Bo Horvat's contract is near the end of it, because Bo's signed till the end of 2031, don't know if we mentioned that yet. He's signed on for a long time at 8.5. Bo is 5 years younger, so if Anders Lee ends up finding himself retiring one way or another, then maybe Bo could be the next guy to take the C. And if everything goes down that way, let's say Bo continues being a 30-40 goal guy, he continues getting 80-plus points a year, then really, what you lost with Johnny T is fully being replaced there by Bo. Because leadership, I'm not going to go out there and dispute that. Bo is a leader. The guy has been trained by the Sedins. He knows what it takes to captain a hockey team. Johnny T has a lot of those qualities too. He's a stoic captain, and a lot of people respect him because of it. It's just, when he left Long Island, that's when everything went down the drain. But now, things are, you could very well debate heading down that path. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're a New York Islanders fan, what are your opinions on Bo Horvat carrying the torch that John Tavares ended up leaving? Could you see Bo as your potential next captain? Do you think Bo is a better hockey player? I think now it's kind of fair to start bringing up primes and everything, because Johnny T, the prime that he had in New York, is sort of being matched points-wise by Bo Horvat. Now, of course, longevity is a thing too. Tavares was much better for much longer, but Bo, in this position, has just gotten better every single year, and now you could debate he's even more productive than what Johnny T was in his prime. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this entire thing. Bo Horvat, John Tavares, New York Islanders lore. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.